YouTube, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the show. Look, America just took control of the crypto race and nobody's ready for what this actually is about to unlock. The US, it is officially bringing spot crypto onto CFTC regulated exchanges, and it changes everything for Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, the whole market. What I'm about to show you, it's bigger than ETFs. It is bigger than regulations. This is the moment the empire enters blockchain. And look, we're going to jump right into it. No waiting, no fluff. The US just flipped the switch. It's that simple. Spot crypto trading, not futures, not ETFs. We're talking real spot trading is coming to a CFTC regulated US exchange for the first time in history. Do you understand how massive this is? For 15 years, the biggest problem in crypto, it wasn't the technology, it was the regulatory whiplash. The US let offshore casinos run the industry while we got chaos, fraud, collapses. You already know the list, but now it's different. America is taking custody back. Spot crypto is being absorbed directly into the same financial rails that are used by sovereign wealth funds, pensions, Wall Street, the big leagues, everyone. And this wasn't some quiet administrative update. This came straight from the top. You see it on your screen over here. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, we're ushering in a golden age of innovation. The US will become the crypto capital of the world. You know who said that? The acting CFT's chair, Caroline Pham, the one who's been in Ripple's office taking pictures with Brad Garlinghouse. It is all starting to come together. That's not regulations. That's a geopolitical position. The US is saying, look, no more offshore fraud, no more confusion. We're bringing crypto home. Think about what happens when the nation that created the dollar officially embraces the hardest money ever invented. This is the great integration. The empire is entering the train, and trust me, this is only the beginning, because what we got next, we need to talk about Binomial and XRP and why this one connection is being massively underestimated. And we get over to it right here. Most people, they still have no idea how big this truly is. They look at it as another piece of news. It is not. Binomial is a fully CFTC regulated US futures exchange. It is going to be offering physically settled XRP futures, not cash settled IOUs, not synthetic exposure. Real XRP must be delivered at settlement. Do you get what that means? This is the US government quietly treating XRP like a commodity. While everyone was distracted by the SEC drama, the CFTC, they slid right in, folks. They slid XRP straight into the institutional pipelines. Here's why this mattered. Listen to this. Institutions, they now have compliant access to XRP. Massive. Real spot demand is created through physical settlement. We got spot ETFs. Now we have the CFTC stepping in, where it's going to be real physical settlement, not just a piece of paper, not a future. XRP would need to be purchased. This is going to eat away at the over-the-counter supply. US regulators are treating XRP like a deliverable asset, which lays the groundwork for a future XRP ETF. This is Wall Street infrastructure, folks. This isn't crypto narratives. Wall Street loves this game. They understand this. They know how to play in this field. Binomial is connecting your US institutional rails directly to XRP, and almost no one's paying attention because they don't understand what physical settlement actually implies. This is commodity status. It's commodity, folks. Everything but the name. And remember, utility plus regulatory clarity equals an explosive upside. But it gets bigger than this. Yeah, that's right. Because institutions are no longer debating whether to use crypto rails. They are actually racing to deploy them, because we get over to this. Every major financial institution right now is asking the same question. This man on your screen, he's the managing director for Ripple for the Middle East and Africa. This is Reese Merrick. He stated that these institutions are asking him, how fast can we integrate crypto rails into real payment flows? not if, not maybe, not one day, but how fast can you guys get it done? This is exactly the environment XRP was designed for, right? Low latency settlement, cross-border efficiency, real utility, and real liquidity. XRP shines when things need to move. And when they need to move fast, globally, at scale, and with finality, that's it. XRP is your winner. The institutions have finally caught up to what XRP was engineered for over a decade. Let that sink in. And the next thing that hits, well, Washington, because Washington started moving fast. The next part is insane. This is SEC Chairman Paul Atkins, and he just went public on Fox Business, stating that the crypto bill is advancing fast. And the shocker, no central bank digital currencies. Why? It's simple. He stated that they are not ready to give that kind of power to the Fed. That's huge, because it means the US is choosing open blockchain rails instead of centralized surveillance coins. That's bullish for Bitcoin. That's bullish for XRP. That is bullish for literally every decentralized asset. DC is waking up, and the markets, they're watching. Listen to this clip.
House, of course, did, and that was the pushback. Can you talk to us a little about why that would be important to ensure that there is not a central bank cryptocurrency?
Well, I think it's best for that sort of thing to be left to the private sector. The government can mine the legal tender and the dollar itself, but the means of transfer and that sort of thing, I think, is best left to innovators. And we don't want to become like China, where you have the threat of a government that can run roughshod over people's bank accounts directly. So I think it's best to leave that to banks and financial institutions and whatever may develop in the next few decades as far as where people put their money and how they transfer it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
of course, did.
That's a massive statement coming from him. Look, if for some crazy reason you're still bearish on XRP, this next part, it's going to change your mind. Turn up the volume. Look, XRP, it's no longer just a digital asset. It's becoming infrastructure. Ripple didn't just acquire G Treasury. They acquired access to $12.5 trillion in enterprise flows. G Treasury, they touch over 1,000 multinational corporations. These aren't retail users who are sending $25, $50, folks. These are treasury teams moving payroll across continents, handling global liquidity, executing supply chain financing. They move real money, and they move it fast, and they do it 24/7. Exactly what XRP is built for. Ripple now sits directly inside the financial command centers of some of the biggest companies on earth. BNY Mellon, the world's largest custodian, global enterprises, institutional capital. XRP is turning into the invisible pipeline behind trillions in flow. Most people won't see it until it's too late. Ask yourself this question. Would you fade a pipeline that's moving trillions of dollars? I don't think so, everyone. And make sure you hit the link below and you sign up for our free newsletter. It's free. You'll put your email in, you'll get an email saying, are you sure you want to opt in? You confirm it and you are in. Just straight up bullish news to your inbox, everyone. The stuff that doesn't make it here on YouTube. And if you're looking to get positioned, hey, book a 30 or 60-minute call with me right now before those calls disappear. We'll talk about everything and anything. Tax structure, LLC setup, exit plans, over the counter, you name it, we'll talk about it. Which moves us over to this. Reese America again, he's just been on fire, folks. Clearly something major has developed or happened, and he's just coming out and he's just leaking breadcrumb after breadcrumb. So let me reset this room for a second, right? Because we need to just zoom out real quick. We've never had a stronger foundation than we do now. Regulation is now a catalyst, not a roadblock. Real-world assets are at a $30 billion regulated industry. Stablecoins, they're up 50% this year. Real-world assets plus stablecoins are forecasted to hit trillions. Crypto ETFs that saw about $30 billion in net inflows. Sticky sticky, sticky, sticky institutional capital, not retail capital. Remember that. Multiple XRP ETFs have launched over at this point, right? We just broke it on Friday, over 1 billion assets under management in a month. It's technically been about 2 weeks. Multiple XRP ETFs, folks, and we're not done. I think we have 3 more in the pipeline, at least 3 more. Financial institutions are building around crypto rails and not replacing them. All of this is the setup for a perfect storm. Clarity, demand, infrastructure, and institutional readiness. Look, 2025 has been massive, right? Maybe not so much in price appreciation that we wanted, but everything building around which is going to lead us to price appreciation. 2026, I'm telling you, it is lining up to be absolutely historic, which gets us over to this. Michael Soldenfeld, the founder of Tiger 2021, or excuse me, Tiger 21. I want to put a year in there, but it's not. He dropped the bomb. He said Bitcoin is now the most discussed asset among the ultra rich. He stated their crypto holdings are now roughly 2% of total assets, around 5 billions. When billionaires rotate quietly, everyone, you pay attention. They move early, they move big, and they move before retail has any clue about what's actually going on. Listen.
As I say, crypto coming up a little. That's the one that, even though it's only 2%, that's the most talked about asset right now.
Tiger 21 is a private invite-only networking group for ultra-high net worth individuals, and it releases quarterly reports on where its members are holding their assets. According to the third quarter data, members are putting their cash to work, favoring private equity, and they're also increasing their crypto holdings. Here to talk more about the report, Michael Sonnenfeld, Tiger 21 founder and chairman.
First of all, we have a risk-on portfolio across our 1,700 members, 250 billion. One of the things that's going on is crypto has recently doubled over the last year from about 1% to 2%. That may not seem like a lot, but when you're talking about 250 billion, that's $5 billion of crypto. And in every meeting, people are talking about, is this a new security asset? Will this be a safe haven like gold? And so in our meetings across the globe, people are really comparing notes on, it's not so much crypto, it's mostly Bitcoin, but not exclusively. Obviously, we have some of the great crypto traders, and they go into all the other varieties of digital currency, but Bitcoin is the big kahuna. Crypto coming up a little, that's the one that, even though it's only 2%, that's the most talked about.
Everyone wants crypto, folks, and as all this is going down, XRP right now, it's coiled. It's in a super, super tight range. Not dead, not forgotten, just sidelined until one major decision hits. And when it does, because it will, we're going to be talking about an asset that has commodity treatment, institutional rails, real enterprise adoption, futures approval, ETF setups, global corridors already running. Sometimes the biggest moves are born from stillness, and we've seen it before. So let's bring this home. The US didn't just move forward. It took control of the crypto spot markets now under the CFTC oversight, XRP gaining commodity transaction, institutions deploying crypto rails at warp speed, Washington's backing off central bank digital currencies, and now leaning into open blockchain systems. Bitcoin quietly being accumulated by the wealthiest people in the world. We are witnessing the official merging of crypto and the global financial system. Not in theory, not in headline, but in hard infrastructure. And if you're here right now, folks, you're early, you're informed, you are positioned ahead of a wave of 99% of people who still just don't see it. The next era of crypto, it won't be driven by hype. It's going to be driven by clarity, adoption, and the biggest money on earth moving in. Stay sharp, stay early, hit that thumbs up, support the channel in the freest way possible, and I'll see all y'all